Good evening, students. This is in continuation of the cue cards. The question is a difficult decision that you made and had a good result. Like always, what are we doing today in the class? My words and your story. You develop your own story, and I am giving you the related words with the relevant sentences, with the standard expressions which you can use, some related idioms and closing lines. You can exactly take the sentences from this class. If you wish, you can modify them also. So let's begin. Describe a difficult decision that you made and had a good result. So some decision which was very difficult for you. So you being a student, what will be the difficult decisions? The first of all will be taking the stream, the course, isn't it? After your 10th standard, whether you have to get into science or whether you have to get into commerce, whether you should join a college which is near to you or a college which had been quite reputed, something like that. Now, the following question says, you should say what the decision was, when you made that decision, why it was difficult to make, and explain how you felt about the good decision. So, these are the different questions for which you will have your story, right? I am giving you the word list. The first one is quite challenging. The way to use it in a sentence is, it was quite challenging decision to make, or you can say, for me it was quite challenging. Simple one, right? For me it was quite challenging. The word for me or as for me you have been using in our earlier sessions also. You have been listening to these words. As I have said, we will use some standard vocabulary throughout our cue cards. So every time you need not to get worried which word to use. Okay, one standard word everywhere. So it is, for me, it was quite challenging. Another simple sentence can be, it was a challenging moment of my life. Good expression is a challenging moment. Right. Next is so critical. The time was so critical. Critical is difficult, challenging, unable to understand. So it is the word critical. The time was so critical. Isn't it a very simple and clear sentence to say and to remember? The time was so critical. If you want to advance a little, you can say that phase was so critical. That phase, the phase which you have explained earlier. So that becomes a reference pronoun. That phase was so critical. If you want to exaggerate with your language, it can be, I had to undergo. Very good word. The word undergo, we will use it in our writing task 1 for the process questions or the map questions. So remember the word. The word is gonna come. So let's see the sentence again. I had to undergo a critical phase or such a critical phase. Good sentences. This time we are lucky, we have very simple cue cards. So make it very language oriented. Next word is life challenging. This decision was a life challenging one. Exclamatory sentences are important. I have been emphasizing on this factor. So here is one. A life-changing decision it was. One more time. A life-changing decision it was. Next. What a life-changing decision it was. Another exclamatory form. What a life-changing decision it was. Or you say, what a life-changing decision it had been. It had been. Was changes into had been. Slowly develop your tense usage. Was changes into had been. Next, important. It was one of the most important decisions I have made. What is this I have? This is the spoken English, contractions. Or you say, it had been one of the most important decisions I have made. The voice intonation is important. Next, risky. The decision felt risky but worth it. Risky but worth it. Highlight the words. Remember the words. Write it in your notes. Write it in your notes. Risky but worth it. Another way to say, though risky, it had been worth risk taking. No doubt it was risky. I give you 50% of the words and you develop your own story with that balance 50% of the words. And there becomes a full sample answer which is gonna cross 7 band for sure. We are a team, isn't it? So thoda aap, thoda main. Next word, rewarding. The result turned out to be rewarding. You can say the result was rewarding. Instead of using the word was, include this phrase, turned out to be, turned out to be. The result turned out to be rewarding and never disappointing, and never disappointing. You can stop the sentence with the word rewarding here. But again, in order to develop coherence and to show your lexical resource, you show a pair of opposite words, like good and bad is a pair of opposite words. Day and night is a pair of opposite words. So similarly here it is rewarding and disappointing. Okay, next word, satisfying. I felt satisfied with the outcome. What is outcome? Outcome is the result. We had taken the word result here, right? Similarly, you can shuffle the words and make your own sentence. Like here it becomes, the outcome turned out to be rewarding and never disappointing. Or you can say, I felt satisfied with the result. The words are here. Anything which is with your convenience, adapt it. I say, adapt it. Next word is complicated. The situation was quite complicated. Transformative, a great change. So you say, it brought a transformative change in my life. Next. Now we have some standard sentences and expressions. I have made this decision after much careful consideration. So a group word here. After much careful consideration. From the list of the sentences here, you can select any one or two. Get used to it by daily repeating the words and practicing them. Let's see the second sentence. Prior I made a decision. Prior means before. Prior I made a decision. I had weighed. Weighed is gave a thoughtful consideration. I had weighed the pros and cons. I had jotted down all my thoughts on a sheet of paper. Jotted down is to write down. Next, I should say this, a native expression. Once or twice you should use these words. So it is, I should say this. It was not easy to make a decision as, and you continue with your story. I had to gather a lot of courage to do this. A simple sentence was, I gathered courage, or I brought courage, or I was courageous, something. Now that simple word changes into a lengthy word here, which is, I had to gather a lot of courage to do this. Another word can be, I had to gather a lot of courage in order to do this. Next, fortunately, surprisingly, we are using some adverbs. Fortunately, surprisingly, I should say this. So it is not only to speak, it is to have some native expressions, some emotions. So it is surprisingly, fortunately, I should say this. This turned out to be the best decision I could have made instead of saying I made. So get used to the word. Write it in your notes. Instead of saying I made, try to substitute the word with I could have made. What happens is when you are sitting in a grammar class or learning something, you tend to learn, no doubt in that. but you forget how to put it into a real usage. Hardly does it happen. So break all the grammar rules. Keep the grammar facts aside. Make it in a quick way to learn. I made changes into I could have. Okay, done. Next one. Now when I look back, try to sound little emotional, little like a hero who tells a story. So try to be a very good narrator. So here it is. Now when I look back, जब मैं पीछे देखता हूँ, I am glad and proud. I am glad and proud. Again a contraction. How am I? Instead of saying the word happy, धीरे धीरे आप words बदलेंगे ना. So instead of having the word happy again, so notes बनाओ फिर से. This is the way. Happy, write it in the notebook, put it is equal to or a hyphen and use the word glad and proud. ऐसे बदलती है vocabulary. 15 videos of our class are regular sessions and there you change your vocabulary. Fine. So I am glad and proud that I have made this decision. I have made. Now again you can make this into contraction. I have made this decision, or you keep it short. Looking back, I am glad I made that decision. Simple sentences. Hope they are very easy to memorize also. Now Sone Pe Suhaga is the idioms. The flavor of idioms really enhance your language. And that comes when you are working on the basics. What are the basics? Good adjectives, good adverbs, good sentence drafting, native expressions. Then comes idioms. Don't directly jump for idioms. The moment you have your cue card, 90% of the students start googling on idioms. अरे पहले सब्जेक्ट तो बना लो, स्टोरी तो बना लो. Have patience. Icing on the cake should be at the end. You cannot start baking a cake with the icing itself, right? So वो तो बात की बात है. आराम से देखते हैं. Right. So now right. So we were on this line. Though difficult, the decision turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Another idiom is a blessing in disguise. That means something which you had struggled in an earlier phase, but later you had been very happy enough to take that pain. So it is a blessing in disguise. So, how is the sentence? Though difficult, the decision turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Now, the last. The way you start and the way you close need to be quite impressive. That is what I had been emphasizing on all the cue cards you have watched. So, the closing lines here are: the result gave me happiness? No. So, it is the result gave me a sense of relief and achievement. Why relief? Because you had been through a pain and the result was good. So you were happy, you were relieved. So the word is relief and achievement. You feel happy that yes, you have succeeded with something, you have achieved something. So those are the correct lines. So the sentences: the result gave me a sense of relief and achievement. Next, the success brought, or you say the success gave happiness? No, it is immense joy. Then, I feel proud of myself. Myself, emphasizing word again. I feel proud of myself for having the right choice. Or you say, I feel proud as I made a good choice. Then, the hard work and decision making ultimately paid off. Ultimately is finally. Paid off is gave you as a result. The hard work and decision making ultimately paid off. Then it is, I was truly grateful for the outcome. I was truly thankful for the outcome. That was the sentence. So you say truly grateful for the outcome. Hope our every sentence helps you in making your own sample answers, as I have been telling. And now again a quick word. We work for you. Happy learning. Happy scores ahead. See you in my next video class. Await for your comments, likes and subscribes. Love you all. Bye for now. Happy learning.